first time poster here. I don't have much time. I need to get this out there. I don't know where to start. I'm scared to keep this all inside, but I'm terrified to relive it. Please, just bear with me. I won't be sharing my real name, and don't even bother trying to email me. It's a disposable. As soon as this is posted, I will cease to exist again. I've been running for months now, trying to stay one step ahead. It was true what they said. It was all fucking true. I see flashes of it in my mind. Short sentences that didn't make 1 ounce of sense at first. I see it. I practically hear it when I try to sleep.
See soon, we come. You don't choose. Come see, come get. We come get you.
Fuck. I'm going crazy just thinking about it. Okay. I'm going to calm myself down. I'm going to tell you my story. From the start. In every detail that I can remember. Here goes. It was just coming into winter when this all began. I remember, because the night it started, I was enjoying a nice warm cup of cocoa. Such a mundane detail. Before everything went to shit. It started off seemingly harmless. Now, I'm not exactly what you would call popular, so I was quite intrigued at first when the Facebook friend requests began coming through. I didn't know what to think of these strange people. They all had weird names, different animals and things like that. I don't really remember too much of the specifics pertaining to that. Too much has happened since then. I remember one about a chicken, I think. Anyway, so here's where the foundation of this story comes into play. Scrolling down the list of these weird requests, I see one that really stands out. I was instantly creeped out when I saw it. The picture itself was ridiculous. A disgusting looking 40-something-year-old stretching his mouth with his hands to totally unnatural proportions. His head was bald, his face was pale, and his eyes. There was something about those eyes. I didn't know whether to laugh or cry. His name? Possibly the weirdest factor here. His name was Jack Smile. Strange, huh? But that wasn't exactly what creeped me out. There was just something about looking at this guy that gave me a bad vibe. Sitting there, I was overcome with this feeling that something was wrong. I shook it off. Probably my mind running in overdrive, I thought. I didn't accept the request, obviously, but I didn't think anything more of it either. I closed my laptop and I decided to play some PlayStation before bed. Waking up the next morning, I looked at the clock and realized I'd overslept big time. I struggled out of bed. I felt like shit, like I'd just popped a bunch of Valium or something. I couldn't keep my eyes open. Deciding I had already wasted enough of the day, I forced myself to stand up and go and get some much-needed caffeine. On the way out of my room, I opened up my laptop, ready to jump on and check some emails, catch up on social media, you know, the daily norms. But as the laptop screen powered on and revealed the Facebook website, I noticed an unusual amount of notifications. As I said, I'm really not the most popular guy, So this was totally out of the ordinary for me. Feeling pretty chuffed with my seemingly newfound popularity, I went and got myself a coffee and came back. I sat down and hastily clicked the notifications icon. My stomach literally dropped. Well, not literally, but I do understand the saying now. It felt as though my stomach was falling over and over again. There in front of me were hundreds of notifications letting me know that my posts and photos had been publicly shared. One by one, I scrolled down through seemingly endless notifications reading, "Jack Smile shared your photo. Jack Smile shared your post. Jack Smile shared your status. Jack Smile, Jack Smile, Jack Smile." And on and on and on it went. I was beyond creeped out at this point, so I navigated to the guy's profile. There in front of me were all of my posts and photos, dating right back to when I first joined Facebook. Why? I kept asking myself. Why was he fucking doing this? Is it someone I know playing a stupid prank? Not wanting anything further to do with this individual, ever, I swiftly hit the block button. At this point, I think it's important to point out, I am a privacy freak. My Facebook profile is hidden. My IP is hidden. Everything's locked down. I'm a hermit. Not even my best friends know where I live. This is just important information to keep in mind for the purposes of this story. So anyway, I had him blocked, and I set an alert via a browser extension to sound a bell whenever the words "Jack Smile" were identified. Thinking this was the end of it, I carried on checking my emails, and I got on with my day. About a week went by, maybe a bit longer. I'm a little hazy. Everything was normal. No friend requests, no weird random post shares. I had just about forgotten the whole thing. It was Saturday afternoon, and I had gotten caught up on all my assessments. It was a nice day outside, and I hate nice days and outside. So I decided to jump on the PS4 and play some Battlefield. I partied up with my buddy Simon, and we started searching for a match. We ended up playing for hours on end. It was the most fun I'd had in a long time. I was just about to tell Simon that I was heading off to grab some dinner when his voice started shaking, then fell silent. I was worried. I shouted for him to answer me for about 2 minutes before I got a response. Still audibly shaken, Simon just managed to get his words out. Dude, someone just messaged me on PSN. He knows your name, dude. I knew instantly. I knew what was happening. My heart began to race, and that feeling in my stomach returned and hit me like a ton of bricks. I didn't want to know, but I had to know. Who is it, man? Simon responded with those 2 words that I dreaded to hear. Jack Smile. It's someone named Jack Smile. I felt like crying. Who the fuck was this guy? Why was he so hell-bent on contacting me? I had to know. Simon, what the fuck did he say? Still shaken, my friend read the message out to me, and it read as follows. PEOPCO Carl Thompson, don't block Jack. He blocked me. 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 I was in disbelief, a state of utter confusion and panic. Who is this guy? Realizing I had been silent for about 5 minutes straight processing all this, I snapped back to reality, remembering Simon was still on party chat. "Are you all good, bro?" I asked him. Simon responded, "Dude, how the fuck did he know that I knew you?" I had not even considered this until now. Not only does this guy know my name, but he knew that I was on PSN. He knew what my gamer tag was. He knew who I was gaming with at that very moment. Looking back now, there is absolutely no doubting that he was watching somehow. It's what they fucking do. They watch. They sit and they watch and they wait as your sanity fritters away. Anyway, we'll get to that. Back to the story. I apologize. My mind is still all over the place. So I said my goodbyes to Simon. I told him that it's probably best that we only speak over the phone from here on out. He agreed and told me that he'd call me tomorrow to check up. I thanked him for that. He was a good friend. I powered off my console and I decided to check on Facebook before bed. I was seriously contemplating just deactivating my account. I went to the fridge, grabbed myself a cold beer. I fucking needed it right then. I chugged it back, every last drop, before grabbing another one and heading back to my laptop. I opened it up, and would you believe it? Another friend request, and a fuckload of notifications. I clicked the friend request, hesitantly. When I saw who it was, I slammed the laptop shut so hard that I'm amazed it survived. There was a friend request from Jack, but it was spelled differently. J @CK, and then smile with a Y instead of an I. He knew that I had set an alert on my browser. Remember I mentioned that. He must have known. Why else would he spell his name that way? There was no other explanation. This was creepy before, but as far as I was concerned, it had become dangerous. There was no doubt in my mind anymore. Whether online or closer than I thought, I was being stalked. I didn't get 1 ounce of sleep that night. The sun came up and stung me unforgivingly through my bedroom window. I felt like trash. My phone had gone flat, so I chucked it on the charge before heading out into the kitchen to grab myself a shitty microwave breakfast. I scoffed it down and then returned to my bedroom to check my now slightly charged phone. 4 missed calls. Jesus Christ. Could it be? I stared at them. They were all from a blocked number. I couldn't even trace it. I jumped a little as the phone began ringing again. Blocked number. Again. I answered, and I sat on the line silently. A voice came through. "Carl." I was shitting bricks. No holding back now. I replied, "I don't know who the fuck you are or what you want, but I will find out, and I'll be handing your info to the cops. Just back off." I felt pretty good about that, and the line was quiet for a moment before the voice came over again. "Dude, It's Simon, you idiot. Damn it. Now I felt like a piece of shit. I'd totally forgotten he was going to call this morning. I responded, "I'm sorry, man. I saw the blocked number and I thought it must have been that fucking mouth dude." Simon was understanding of this. "It's all good, bro. I was just calling to check in. But I have to go now. I love you, bro." And he hung up. That was weird. Everyone loves their best bro, but no one says it. Especially Simon and I. Looking back, if I hadn't been so overtired, my mind probably would have been better able to put it all together. Why Simon had called me from a blocked number when he never had before. Why he seemed to be in such a rush to hang up the phone. And why, after all this time, he felt the need to tell me he loves me. It wasn't until later that day when I caught a glimpse of the patrol car pulling up outside my house and answered my door to a police officer informing me that my best friend of the past 20 years had gone missing, that I pieced it together. I broke down. I can barely remember that moment. It's all a blur. I do remember one thing though. I just couldn't figure out why the police had come to me. If this is a missing persons case, why weren't they out there searching? Why hadn't they informed the family directly? Why me? I picked myself up off the ground, turned to the officer and put my questions to him. His response still tears me up inside to this day. He put a hand on my shoulder, looked me right in the eyes and said, "He mentioned you in his suicide note. I'm so sorry, son." I don't remember much of the following month. I fell into a deep depression. My life was alcohol and sleep. I was barely eating. I would drink, pass out, only to do it all again the next day. They never found Simon's body, and I was so drunk 24/7 that I forgot about his funeral. I missed my best friend's fucking funeral. After about a month of this self-abuse, I was finally able to pick myself up and start getting back to some kind of normality. I contacted my course provider and apologized for my absence. Managed to sweet-talk my way back into beginning my studies again. Under normal circumstances, I would have been kicked out. Things were starting to look up. But isn't that always the case? Just when you think everything's going to be okay, and the metaphorical sun is shining at its brightest, those dark clouds return. Yeah, you guys guessed it. I opened up Facebook, and there they were. Hundreds of notifications. Jack Smile shared your post. Jack Smile shared your photo. Jack Smile. Yeah, you get the idea. All of a sudden, I wasn't scared. I wasn't anxious. I was just fucking angry. No more. I'm gonna talk to this piece of shit and find out what the fuck he wants. I clicked on his profile, and I initiated a private message session. I'm going to copy and paste the message session below. I'll tidy it up a little so it reads clearer, but I'm going to leave his responses intact so that you can get an idea of what I was dealing with here and what to look out for yourself. Me. Okay, own the fuck up, arsehole. Who are you and what do you want? Message seen. 10 minutes later. Me. You have seen this message. Answer me. Jack smile. Hello to Carl Thompson, hello. All in caps. Me. Why the fuck are you doing this? Is this a joke? Jack smile. Not joke, because PEOPCO need the people. Me. What are you talking about? Jack smile. This is a very good that you are talk to Jack. If you are not talk Jack, I have no way to come see. Me. See what? Jack smile. No, you don't ask that. PEOPCO, we come to you. You don't get to choose. Me. Look, man, drop it. This is a sick fucking joke, and I'm going to bring the cops into this if you don't get lost. Jack smile. This is not good. We PEOPCO need the beautiful, happy people, but not angry, not hostile. We come get soon. Me. Fucking explain yourself, idiot. Are you saying that you're going to come and get me? Jack smile. Yes, it is that. Me. Huh. Good luck finding me, arsehole. Message seen. This was when everything turned upside down on me. This is when I realized that I was outclassed. 2 minutes later, this arsehole, I shit you not, drops a picture of my house in the conversation. He followed this up by saying, PEOPCO, see soon, before immediately deactivating his Facebook account within seconds. I freaked out when I saw this. I jumped out of my chair and ran around my house, closing every window, drawing every curtain, and locking every door. My fight or flight reflex was in full effect, and I was ready to kill anything that came near my house. I don't really remember anything after this. I remember my breathing becoming incredibly rapid and short as I shot quick glances around my dark house in every direction. I remember becoming very lightheaded, and I can only assume I then passed out. I remember waking up on the floor the next day to a knock at the door. My head being in scatters, I walked to the door and answered it. There was no one there. That's weird. Oh well. And I then remembered the previous night. It all came back to me in that one moment, and I was instantly gripped in fear. My entire body ran ice cold. I slammed the door and locked it, and I got straight on the phone to the police. I had to report this. Yeah, they would probably come around and tell me there's nothing they can really do, but I had to at least get this on file. Maybe they'd be more willing to help down the line if this gets worse, if there's a record of it. I don't know. I just didn't ever want to find out what the fuck this PEOPCO shit was. I called it in, and I had to go down to the station to file the report. I hated having to leave the house. I was on edge the entire time. My anxiety was killing me. And you know what? After all that, the fuckers wouldn't even help me. They said there's been no physical contact, and as far as they could tell, it's just some online troll. I knew better, and they should have too. Feeling defeated, I began the walk home. I lived in a small town, so it was no big deal. It wasn't far. The worst part was knowing that that freak could be anywhere. I've never felt so exposed. Walking home, I felt naked. like there were eyes right on me the entire way. And then I noticed it. It was faint, barely audible, and it had been with me the whole time. I had assumed it was insects or, I don't know, an electrical hum, something. But no, I was mistaken. I looked up above me, and there was no mistaking it. There was a fucking drone. A very small one, but undoubtedly a drone. As soon as I looked up at it, it flew away. I've never run home so fast in my life. I collapsed on the floor and cried like a bitch for hours. I didn't know what else to do. I was scared to be in my home. I was scared to leave my home. I was scared to engage in the digital world. Even online, I could feel those watching eyes on me. I disconnected my Wi-Fi. I unplugged my PS4. I shut down my laptop, and I took the SIM card out of my phone. I wondered to myself just how long he had been watching. Emotionally and physically spent, I crawled into bed. I lay there for hours, my mind running in overdrive, trying to think of any reasonable explanation for all this. But there wasn't one. Suddenly, I was hearing strange noises. Laying there, I was convinced it was all in my head, that I was being driven to insanity. But suddenly, a thought hit me, and I physically felt my face turning pale white. The fucking laundry door. How could I be so stupid? It was the one door I forgot to lock the previous night. I was suddenly reminded of a quote from the show Criminal Minds. Nobody ever thinks to lock a door that lays beyond another locked door. I had forgotten both. I jumped out of bed and I ran to my bedroom door, stopping only at the last second. I froze as the reality of what was happening seized my entire body in fear. Laughing. I heard laughing inside the house. It was ridiculous. It was like a childish, babyish laugh, but clearly coming from a grown man. I heard scratching and laughing. The laughter became louder and louder, and suddenly, I heard a door slam shut. I sat there, pressed up against my now locked bedroom door, until morning came. I picked up my collector's edition cricket bat and slowly walked outside. I crept down the hall. The slightest noises were causing my heart to stop. I turned and I walked into the laundry. What I saw caused my legs to literally collapse underneath me. And yes, I mean literally this time. I fell onto my knees and I stared, incapacitated by fear and disbelief, at 3 large words carved into the wooden wall. PEOPCO, see soon. He was in my house. He was in my fucking house. There was nothing left to do. I had no other options left but to hole up in here and either wait this out or die. I called a cab, got dropped off at the hardware store. I bought the biggest, toughest looking door locks, chains and padlocks I could find. On the way back home, I told the cab driver to take me to a bar. Spent the next hour intoxicating myself before buying a case of VB and catching another cab back home. I fortified the shit out of my house, cracked open my case of beer, rested my cricket bat in my lap, and waited. And waited. And waited. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. I began to relax a little, both due to the inactivity and the effects of the alcohol. I kicked back, started watching TV. Perhaps this is just the moment he was waiting for, because it was then that I felt it. A sharp pain, over before I knew it. Something tiny and sharp, being driven into the back of my neck. I was thrown into a small panic. Then all of a sudden, before I could even figure out what was going on, I was completely calm. And then it all went black. The next part of this story is incredibly difficult for me to tell. I apologize if my writing seems sloppy. I apologize if you struggle to understand it. I'm doing my best to stay focused here. In some strange way, this is almost therapeutic, but it's not easy. So here it goes. The next thing I can remember is waking up. It was hot. Like, really fucking hot. And I was thirsty. I sat up and I began to take in my surroundings. I saw dry mountains, bushland, a wooden fence spanning miles it seemed. Then I remembered the pain in my neck. Someone had sedated me. It's the only explanation. This was it. Whoever had been following me, they had got to me. I tried to stand up, but I couldn't. I was still too weak. I felt like crying. I ripped at the chains that bound me for what felt like eternity. I pulled until I was bleeding, and then I pulled some more. It was not until the sun began to fall that the hopelessness truly sank in. There was nothing I could do. I had no idea who these people were, what they wanted, and there was nothing I could do but wait. I didn't know what they were planning, but you don't chain a person to a tree if you have good intentions for them. I knew that much. The fear was killing me. I was totally awake and conscious at this stage, and it was all beginning to sink in. I was probably going to die. It's a strange sensation, let me tell you. The fear is brutal, but that certainty of looming death brings a strange sense of calm. So I did what most in my situation would. I laid down on the ground and I waited. Just waited. What was the point in trying? It was over. I had lost. I lay there for hours, just going over this whole thing in my head, over and over again. And it was then I heard it. That fucking childish laughter, the same as I had heard in my house that night. But it was coming from a group. Yeah, there were a lot of them. People just like me, I wondered. The laughter grew closer and louder. I closed my eyes and I waited. I wondered to myself how they were gonna do it. Would they just shoot me? Would they stab me? I kept my eyes closed and I waited for the inevitable. And then I heard his voice. I just knew it was him.
"Get up off ground,"
he said. It was so strange. If my situation was not so dire, I probably would have laughed. He was kind of shouting at me, and yet his voice was full of happy tones. I looked up. It was him indeed. Jack fucking Smile. Again, he said,
"Get on feet, get up off ground."
in that weird, angry, happy hybrid voice of his. That in itself was unsettling. I tried to speak, but I couldn't. I tried to tell him that I was too weak to stand, but I could not talk. My mouth, it hurt. Like really fucking hurt. Not surprising. I was sore all over. He then walked quickly towards me, doing that weird laughing thing. He grabbed my arm and he pulled me up. He had a gigantic smile that stretched over his entire face. He laughed as he pulled me to my feet, only for me to collapse again. And the process was repeated over and over. I managed to get out the words, "I can't stand. I'm too weak." He stopped laughing, and his smile grew. Somehow, that giant, unsettling smile grew larger. He held up a hand and shouted,
"Here, you other people."
which I can only assume meant, "Come here." 2 other men walked over to me. It was then that I noticed the large group standing around me. And then I noticed their faces. I instantly threw up whatever was left in my stomach. It was disgusting. I looked again to confirm what I had seen, and I threw up again. Every person here was smiling. No, I don't mean they were happy. I mean, they were smiling permanently. Their faces, all of them, were full of industrial-grade staples, morphing their mouths into a gigantic smile similar to Jack's. I have never, and probably will never, witness anything quite as disturbing as this. I glanced around the group. Some of them were visibly crying, sickeningly contrasting the unnatural smiles on their faces. Some of them were still bleeding around where the staples were pushed in. And some of them, perhaps most unsettling of them all, were visibly enjoying themselves. And just as I thought things could get no worse, it was then that I saw him. In the back, barely recognizable. I broke down into tears as I spotted my best friend. They got Simon. He didn't take his own life. I fucking knew that. I felt like shit. They were after me. He just got in the way. Suddenly, I was forcibly grabbed by the 2 men that Jack had summoned, and they pulled me to my feet and slammed me up against the tree I was chained to. Jack began laughing once again as he produced a nail gun from a box beside a nearby tent. "Please, no, no," I begged as he drew nearer, laughing maniacally now. His laughter boomed in my ears, and his saliva splattered all over my face as the nail shot through each of my hands, securing me to the tree. I remember wanting to pass out, but I couldn't. Jack then began dancing around, shouting,
I told get on feet, I warned, stand up on ground, not be on ground, I told get on feet, I did.
Watching him with tears in my eyes, I breathed out, just fucking kill me. Fuck you. He stopped suddenly and glanced at his offsiders. He motioned his head towards me and said,
Show that one how, happy one how, we won now, us.
I remember this dialogue perfectly. It was so ridiculous. Utter gibberish. Yet, it somehow made sense. The offsider produced a mirror, held it up, and slowly approached me. As it drew closer, I realized that's why I couldn't speak. That's why I was in pain. I cried as I gazed upon my giant, wide-stretching smile. The entire group began laughing in that strange, childish laugh. Jack held up his hands after a while of this, and they all immediately fell silent.
Back in building now, this one stay here. This one don't get to eat the lovely food, he stay here. He will get to be one of the PEOPCO soon, but not yet, he stay now.
And there I stayed, face full of staples, nailed to a fucking tree. I stood there for hours on end until I finally passed out. And so here we are, in the month between when I arrived to the day I made my escape. I played the part perfectly. I gained their trust, but I did not conform to their ways. I understand how they work now, how they operate. They are called PEOPCO. They are a society, a cult. They are incredibly well equipped. Once I saw what went on inside, I was no longer surprised that they were able to track me the way they did. They worship a man, their leader, Jack Smile. Yes, he is just a man, but to his followers, he is a god. They believe in a world in which everybody worships Jack, and they truly believe that by taking people one by one, eventually, they will spread their message far and wide. This is flawed on so many levels, obviously, but it doesn't have to make sense to be dangerous. I have to go now. It was a risk to even connect to the grid long enough to post this. I'll check back again, if and when I can. Farewell for now, and perhaps forever. And allow me to leave you with this final warning. Delete your social media now. That is how they find you. It is totally and completely random, and it does not matter where you live. Once you are targeted, there is no escaping them. They are too smart. They are too well equipped. And please, if you ever receive a friend request from Jack Smile, run.